Well, hey everybody, John Ritlin here, and this is Hashtag Ask for Honesty, episode 15. And I want to thank every single one of you, whether you're an OG subscriber, new subscriber, anybody in between, if you how many ever of these videos you've watched, taking time out of your day to watch me rant and rave about wrestling or music or movies or whatever the fuck's on my mind. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Sharing it on your own social media. The interactions have been great. Without the interactions, this specific series would not exist, Hashtag Ask for Honesty, because it's all about answering your guys' questions. And also, while it would be fun, especially the videos myself and the Durbinator do, because I get to watch wrestling with my best friend and have fun jokes and banter and everything, while it would be fun, the interactions and the feedback and the fact that you guys love the content so goddamn much really does add a whole lot to it. Over 600 subscribers, over 160,000 views. Who knows? 200,000 views by SummerSlam? Possibly. We'll see. But the whole point is, it's just been a fun ride, and I just want to take a moment to thank you guys, take about a minute to really thank you guys for the great times. And I promise to not let you down. And I promise to rant even more. Like, I'm going to be doing another rant series coming up. Shout out to Avalena WWE. I'm not going to ruin the title yet. I'm not going to spoil it just yet. But it's a great idea. Need to come up with a list and a format and a way to do it. But I'm really excited. I'm really happy. So thank you, Valena, for suggesting that. I will be having a whole lot of fun with that Angry Rant series soon. And also, if you want to send a question, please leave a comment below this video. Limit 3 to 4 questions. If it's beyond 3, I may have to be less detailed on one of them, as I want to try to give everybody an even playing field. Or find me on Twitter, hit me up in DM, send me 3 to 4 questions, or check the pinned tweets I put up Tuesday morning, Thursday morning. Use the hashtag Ask for Honesty below those tweets. And, wrestling, music, or movie-related questions, and I will answer them as detailed as possible. So, going to get on with this, and there will be another one up Saturday morning, unless something suddenly comes up. So I will be having 2 of these a week, like I have been. And I'm going to try to stick to the Wednesday-Saturday schedule as long as I'm able to. So, AJAT 800, which match characters do you prefer? Frank Burns versus Charles Winchester, Henry Blake versus Sherman Potter, Trapper John versus BJ Honeycutt. I hope I pronounced that right. I'm not enough of a MASH aficionado, if you will. I'm not enough of an aficionado on the show to know beyond Radar, Radar, Hawkeye, and a few others. So, sorry, I'm not really going to be able to be too detailed on this one. I do enjoy a lot of the characters and thought there were a lot of layers to them, and I thought I did a great job of mixing humor and drama with, a wartime setting. But I won't lie to you, I don't know enough about these characters to really answer much, so I apologize. I'm not able to get too detailed on this. Those characters I listed, if you guys are MASH fans, please leave in the comments what you guys think. I appreciate you asking the questions. I'm just sorry I can't be more detailed here. But his second question, do you think any WWE championships need an upgrade in terms of their current designs? The tag team titles need to go down to 1. They need to redesign them and not have the Penny championships like they had a couple years ago. No, not talking about the Penny character from Inspector Gadget. And if you know what that is, you're as old as I am, and I'm sorry. But, no, I'm just kidding. That was a fun show. But I'm talking about the cartoon, not the fucking live-action movies. But back to the designs. I would take the tag titles, combine them. I would make, one championship between Raw and SmackDown. Because the wild card rule, which is fucking stupid, and I know that wasn't part of your question, sorry, but the wild card rule, fucking stupid, has pretty much nullified both championships. They might as well just combine them. I would redesign them, make them not just red, blue, that kind of stuff. And I would make them a little bit better. I go back to the old school design and everything. I like the design, like, when the Road Warriors had them, or the Hart Foundation, or maybe not the Nasty Boys so much, because the Nasty Boys were shit. But the whole point is I would have a redesign, maybe go back a little more old school. Look at the NXT titles, the tag titles. The women's title's fucking beautiful. There are plenty of beautiful women that could hold the championship also, and plenty of women that are also beautiful and talented, but I digress. The NXT Championship, or the NXT UK Championship, is impressive. North American title's decent. The NXT titles, I think they need a redesign at this point. But they're not nearly as bad as the main roster ones. Universal title needs to just be fucking scrapped altogether. The fruit roll-up flesh apron belt, they really need to get rid of that. But I would combine the tag titles and the women's titles, and I would just redesign and make it cool. Now, I get it's for marketing. It's cheaper to produce that stuff. But at this point, you make everything look the same. And what's the point of it when you have the stupid fucking wildcard rule? Even if they get rid of the wildcard rule, eliminate a couple championships. The answer is not more championships. Have a couple, less. Combine the tag, combine the women, have them go between the brands. You can create some fresh feuds and everything and stuff like that. I know that wasn't part of your question, That's something I want to fucking see, because I'm tired of the same motherfucking feuds all the fucking time. I did a rant, by the way, about Shane McMahon, the wild card rule. I don't know if I can put that link up here, but check out my channel. You can hear me get a little more angry about that one. But yes, I do think the women's and the tag titles, at least those for sure, deserve a redesign. Because at this point, it's just too samey, and it's just too cookie cutter. It's almost like you get the shit out of a vending machine or at a carnival or stuff like that. It just looks cheap. Third question. Do you think wrestlers like Taylor Hendricks or Melissa Anderson would help elevate the women's division of AEW, or would they fit better in WWE? At this point, WWE is not even utilizing most of the women that they have correctly. Not everybody can be on top all the time, but they have so many toys in the toy box, they can't utilize the women properly anymore. They're still doing main event. Nobody gives a shit about main event. Even though the people work hard, I'm just saying, get rid of main event and just utilize the people better, especially the women on Raw and SmackDown. You have 5 fucking hours. Eliminate some of the bullshit recaps. Who cares if people have bad attention spans? Wait, what the fuck was I talking about? God damn it. Oh, right. That was a bad joke. I'm sorry. I do actually have a bad attention span, as you have been able to tell by this show. But do I think that Taylor Hendricks, Melissa Anderson would fit better in AEW or WWE? AEW at this point, they need to bolster their stuff with their women's division, even though they have some great women on there. Nyla Rose, which, by the way, you realize trans people have fucking... I'm not saying you, AJT800. I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you, okay? You realize that trans people have fucking rights. You realize they should. They're just human beings. You realize that? It's part of the reason why the Pride shirt's back there. But also, they're real fucking people, so quit fucking being stupid about it. Again, not you, AJT800. I really appreciate that. But that being said, Taylor Hendricks would actually fit in quite well. Melissa Anderson, I'm a little bit unfamiliar with her. Unless it's cheerleader Melissa. If that's her, then yes. Otherwise, you mentioned the name. You tend to know quite a bit about some women that are in smaller promotions. And you mentioned quite a few of them, and you're a big Taylor Hendricks fan. I don't blame you. I'm a big Taylor Hendricks fan. I actually have one of her shirts in my closet that I forgot to wear for this. Actually, wait, it's in the wash. But Taylor would actually fit in just fine in AEW. I think she could do very well. And it would be a nice way to bring people who have name value to their women's division and help out. Even though Britt Baker's pretty good, Kylie Ray could help bring her along if they have Awesome Kong and more appearances. And then they have the Japanese women, Hikaru Shida. God damn it. I'm sorry I mispronounced that name. I'm still trying to learn this stuff. I still screw up some of the New Japan names. I've been watching that for like a year and a half. But yeah, I think Taylor for sure. And Melissa Anderson. Why the fuck not? At this point, I mean, hey, bolster with some more women, because you're going to need some women when you create a women's title. And they're going to have to create a women's title, because otherwise, what are the women fighting for? What are we fighting for? Terrible rendition of that song. But thank you for your questions, by the way. Now we go to BSG 103079. I gave myself a headache with that shouting. Based off a poll I saw where Christian Bale won, who are your 3 favorite actors to play Batman? Adam West, Christian Bale, Michael Keaton. And actually, I'll go Adam West, Michael Keaton, Christian Bale. I'm going to throw Kevin Conroy in there, though, because he voiced Batman in the animated series. And to me, besides Adam West, he was the best Batman. Now, yeah, you could go back to the Batman serials that they did in the 30s and 40s, maybe just the 40s, which I really enjoyed those. Those were quite fun. And Riff Tracks actually did some good send-ups to those. And if you don't know what Riff Tracks is, Mystery Science Theater 3000, the same cast from the last few seasons on Sci-Fi, Mike, Bill, and Kevin. It's them just having fun and everything. But yeah, I would say Adam West, because I'm always going to have just a bit of an affection for Adam West, just being hilarious. You know, well, my old chum, and you know, just picking up the freaking bat phone and the bat shark repellent, because of course it would be bat shark repellent. How many drugs was everybody on when they made that show? But also Christian Bale, Michael Keaton, I'd put them on there. I like Ben Affleck as Batman, even though I thought he did fine. George Clooney I didn't really care for. And Clooney managed to move on from his, up with his career, even up into the air, if you will. But Val Kilmer, no, not so much. I don't know how, Edward from Twilight's going to do, and that's how I'm going to call him, but I don't know how he's going to do. But I'll say those 3 guys that I mentioned before. And then we get to Alfredo Reyes 24, and this is going to kind of tie into another question, so I'm going to kind of seamlessly transition into those. But how many championships should AEW have at launch? At launch, obviously the world title. Tag titles, they seem like they're going to implement that over the next few specials that they're going to be having. Like, I think at Fyter Fest, which I will be watching, by the way, either at home or with the Derb, and Fight for the Fallen, which is the one where they're going to have the proceeds, some of the proceeds go towards the victims of gun violence, and actually probably a large portion of the proceeds, which is really, really nice, by the way. And also, at All Out, they're going to have some more stuff. So they're going to set up this nice tag team title tournament, and they're probably going to kick off with a whole bunch of that action when they debut on TNT. So they're going to have a world title. They're going to have a tag title. They need to have a women's title. I'd say they need to start implementing the women's title. I would say crown a women's champion at All Out, because that's going to be a big moment. Have a couple championships. Have a couple four-ways, with the women you have in there. And then go with the two women that win there, and they fight later in the night or something like that. Or maybe the two women win and then they fight at the beginning of, to fight to close the show of, for TNT. Give the women the main event, to close their first episode on TNT. I don't know who the fuck you would have be the women's champion. It would probably be Britt Baker. It could be Nyla, by the way. It could be Nyla. I don't know who they would necessarily go with. I know that wasn't part of your question, but I would say 3 at first. Add a mid-card title at some point. They need to just kind of go with what NXT is doing. The women only need the one championship. The men only need, the main championship. Tag teams, they seem to be bolstering their tag team division. I hate to say it, but the AEW tag division is already a lot better than New Japan's. And I love New Japan. I love Tama Tonga and Tangaloa, and I love Evil Sonata and a few others. They don't really have that much of a tag team division outside of a few teams, which is disappointing given the loaded roster New Japan has. I would say 3 at first, add a mid-card title down the road, stick with 4. Stick with 4. I can count. Fuck. Ow. Stick with 4. If you want to add a 5th at some point, add a women's mid-card title if they add enough women to it, sure. But I would say don't go too crazy on the men's championships, unless they want to do some kind of cruiserweight title thing. But I don't really know how many they're going to have on their roster. That's what it's going to depend on. I would say stick with 3 at first, add a mid-card at some point, and go from there. Because if they have too big of a roster, and they're going to have to add more championships, but as I just said before, earlier, in another question, more championships is not what is necessary. So that's all I'm going to say right there. And I'm going to go to Bobby A from Facebook. Who do you think AEW, or do you think AEW will have a women's or mid-card title? As I said before, and I just kind of wanted to tie this in here because, Bobby, I didn't want you to think I was ignoring you. And thank you for saying the questions, by the way, just before I started recording this. A women's title they have to have, especially if they want to establish Britt Baker, Kylie Rae, Nyla Rose, the other Japanese women they have there. Not that any of the 3 I mentioned were Japanese, but and Taylor Hendricks or anybody else that they signed. Sadie Gibbs. Sadie Gibbs was had a video package just before Double or Nothing. And I'm very interested to see what she can do. Because she looks kind of like, Amazonish, if that's even a fucking word. But she looks like, pretty powerful and everything, and is well produced. I'm interested to see what she can do. If they sign more women, and enough women to bolster a division, yes, they absolutely need to have a women's championship. At least 12 women is what they need. So, yes, they need to have a women's title and go with the ideas that I said at Alfredo Reyes' question. Mid-card title, yes. They need to have a mid-card title at some point. Do it after they've been on TV for a number of weeks, and months and stuff like that, once they get stuff established. And it seems also like AEW is going to focus mainly on pay-per-views, a few pay-per-views a year, and just television, and not so much house shows. And they might do a house show here and there, special event. But what I'm thinking is that focusing on television is a pretty smart idea, because doing house shows at this point, especially with WWE struggling to do that, and WWE's an established brand, Impact doesn't even run house shows. Ring of Honor can't even get more than 1,000 people at the ShoWare Center in Kent. Kent does not get a lot of wrestling. Kent, Washington, by the way, and I live in Washington, for those of you who don't know. Yeah, if Ring of Honor, an established brand, can't even draw people there, and I know that they've had issues drawing people for a bit, then AEW should not focus on house shows. So yeah, I think a women's title for sure, mid-card down the road. And then a second question, who are your dream opponents for Liger's last match? Totally depends on Liger. I would love to see Minoru Suzuki, as it would be two legends of the business facing off, and it'd be great for Wrestle Kingdom. But I got a couple others. Will Ospreay as, Ariel Assassin versus the man that popularized junior heavyweight wrestling in Japan. Yes, I know the original Tiger Mask and Dynamite Kid did, but Liger hasn't, threatened to murder anybody like Dynamite Kid did. And no, I don't feel bad for talking bad about Dynamite Kid, no matter how much he revolutionized the business. He's a piece of shit. I don't feel bad for saying that. But what I think is Ospreay, they could go with ELP, but I don't know if anybody would buy it. I think you want to make it monumental. If you want to put over somebody like Shingo, I would like to see that. Maybe Sonata, because Sonata has a tie to the Great Muta. Great Muta, Keiji Muto, has a tie to Jushin Thunder Liger from all the matches they had in Japan, especially in the 90s. I'm sure they had some in the 2000s here, but you'll forgive my New Japan history for being a little bit up in the air because, my brain has been concussed multiple times and slapping it has not fucking helped, but I'm an idiot. But back to Liger's match. I got another one. Shota Umino. And usually the traditional thing is they put the young lions on excursion, but Shota Umino beating Jushin Thunder Liger would be something special. So I wouldn't mind seeing Ospreay or Shota Umino do it. Other than that, I don't really know who the fuck else you could do. I mean, what, Yoshihashi? Nothing against Yoshihashi, who's a great wrestler. And really, you can tell is frustrated with his position in the company. But, I mean, come on. There aren't a ton of people besides maybe Suzuki, Ospreay, or Shota Umino if you want to go for a shock. Other than that, I can't really think of who else. So, unless they want to have Jay White do it. Oh, God, they're going to have Jay White do it. He would put over Jay White. Liger's all about putting people over. But I would go with one of those first three, but they'll probably have Jay White do it. But yeah, Umino or Ospreay would be mine. Because I don't think they're going to extend the Suzuki feud out that long. And then Jeremy8911 has a question. Thoughts on Sarah Logan possibly being paired up with the Viking Raiders? Well, she hasn't been featured on TV for the past 2 months, even though apparently she's been injured. So why the fuck not? The Viking Raiders were just, suddenly brought back to Raw after being on Main Event. Because, hey, guys, you got called up from NXT after dropping the titles. Let's go to Main Event. I mean, they already fucking kind of damaged our brand with the whole Viking Experience thing, and they're still calling their finisher the Viking Experience. That's stupid. That's really fucking stupid. But whatever, it's Vince. Vince doesn't fucking know what he's doing anymore. And if he knows what he's doing, please tell me what he's doing besides screwing up the company. But anyway, I'm fine with Sarah. I like Sarah Logan. I think Sarah Logan's a beast. I think she could be used well. She should be facing Becky at SummerSlam for the Raw Women's title if Becky doesn't lose to Lacey Evans to Stomping Grounds, which, by the way, is where we kick ass and take names. And if WWE's going to run that into the ground, I'm going to run it into the fucking ground. Or fist snatch and take names. Different type of wrestling. Moving on. Sarah Logan being paired up with the Viking Raiders. I mean, she's married to one of them. So, why the fuck not? I mean, if it leads to maybe, tag team and women's championships for them, and they put championships on them, which they should have done when Sarah Logan was with the Riot Squad, but I fucking digress. Best wishes to Ruby Riott, by the way, in her speedy recovery. And also Liv. Could they use Liv on SmackDown? Could they use the women better instead of fighting over donuts and stuff like that? And by the way, love Sonya. I respect Mandy. I'm not Mandy's biggest fan, but I love Sonya. Again, pride shirt. Anybody in the LGBTQ community, by the way, if they're LGBTQ, deserve respect. Say you can fuck off if you don't like that. Yeah, and Ember Moon, that whole interaction thing was ridiculous. But as far as Sarah, I'd like to see that. I would like to see Sarah Logan included with the Viking Raiders. But only if it leads to something. And nothing wrong with using a real-life couple on there. I mean, they've been using that. It's like, they have yet to have Andrade and Charlotte interact on TV, which is what it is. They got real-life couples on there. I mean, people are saying, oh, you're not slandering Becky for how she interacts with Seth on Raw. Those are actually what people were saying. People were saying that Becky should be slandered for how she interacts with her boyfriend. People brought in the whole thing about the Bellas, was my whole point. And I said, well, see, Becky's actually earned what she has. The Bellas never fucking did. And I'm sorry. You don't fucking like it. That's too fucking bad. That's my opinion. You can think otherwise. I would like to see Sarah Logan with the Viking Raiders, and hopefully it leads to something. I don't think it will, but I'd sure fucking love to see it. Because Sarah is powerful, beautiful, talented in the ring. She got a fucking pop at Mania. In that Battle Royal. She should have won it, not Carmella, because it hasn't fucking led anywhere with Carmella. The more I think about this shit, the more pissed off I'm getting. Reviewer 809 though. Jeremy, by the way, I do love the idea. I'm sorry for going off on a few tangents there, but thank you for saying in your question. Reviewer John 809, have you been burnt out with superhero movies? Yes. And this is nothing, isn't it? They make a shitload of money. They make a ton of money. And people were probably surprised I watched so many horror movies thinking I wouldn't get burned out by that. Oh, no, I'm kind of burned out on some horror movies, but there's so much good shit coming out. It's such good shit. It's all that beef, pal. Ow. You need to stop doing that impression. Yeah, by the way, the Annabelle shirt. I will be reviewing Annabelle Comes Home at some point. Superhero movies, I like quite a few of them. I get why people like them. They make a shit ton of money, as I said. The Avengers movies have made a ton. It's all the culmination of the Marvel movies and all that stuff and everything. And now what are they going to do for a follow-up? Hopefully not milk the franchise dry. They're probably going to, but as long as they keep making money, it's going to work. Yes, I am burned out on them, but I totally get why a lot of people like them. Everybody's got a genre that they appreciate. Superhero movies may not be my kind, but Derb, he loves them. And that's great. They mean a lot to him. They mean a lot to so many others, and that's fine. Personally, I am burned out on them. 2, do you think this Sunday's Stomping Grounds, which, by the way, is where we kick ass and take names, I include that in your question, sorry, we'll have rematches for Extreme Rules like for the Universal and WWE title? I fucking hope not. And nothing against your question, but it's like, I fucking hope not, but I would not be surprised, by the way, if Dolph somehow got slotted in and we had Kofi versus Dolph versus Owens at Extreme Rules. You know, because, of course, maybe they'll have a false finish at Stomping Grounds, which, by the way, is where we kick ass and take names. It's the stupidest fucking tagline. So fucking bad. They're trying to be edgy. Too edgy. So edgy that Lita just got speared again. Yeah, I brought up that whole thing because I never let anything go. According to Derb. Universal title, they really shouldn't have had a fucking second match between... They shouldn't have had a first match between Rollins and Corbin. They shouldn't have. Now, this needs to be the end of it. I fear it won't be, though. I fear they could do another one at Extreme Rules, which would be bad because they have like 3 weeks after this. There's another Without a Cause show, by the way. And by the way, if you bought tickets for Stomping Grounds and don't want to go, check out Without a Cause WA on Twitter. Make sure to, check out, talk to them, find out where the show's going to be. Normana Lodge in Everett, Washington. I don't have the exact address, but look it up. And bring your Stomping Grounds tickets. Make sure they're valid and everything. And you could get a pretty good deal for it, and you can enjoy some really good wrestling. I hate to push people away from WWE, but at this point, supporting your local indies seems like a better idea. Because WWE, while they have a lot of great talent, are fucking ruining so many people. Because Vince doesn't know what the fuck he's doing anymore. Well, he thinks it's good shit, but it's not. Anyway, yeah, I think these rematches from Stomping Grounds, which, by the way, is where we kick ass and take names, will be happening at Extreme Rules. At least one of them, probably for the Universal title. Hopefully not for the WWE title, because I'm sorry, Dolph, while great in the ring, I just don't give a shit about him anymore. If Dolph doesn't go away, like, for good, then what the fuck are we even doing here? And then we get to the final questions here. Brian2358 from YouTube. He's got a few questions here. How much money do mid-carders and lower card wrestlers earn in WWE? NXT, I heard, is like low six figures for a lot of the highest paying guys, which makes sense since they have about every fucking star signed that isn't, with another major wrestling company. I'm not really sure about it. I would imagine between very low six figures, just over 100 grand, to maybe like, 250 grand. Maybe 450 grand, depending on, if they're like an upper mid-carder, but I can't imagine it's all that much. I know they're making some money, and they're making some money from merch and this kind of stuff, but I can't imagine it's all that much. I don't know the exact figures. I would suggest finding WWE's earning reports, since they make those public, their quarterly earnings, and maybe you can break that down from there, but I don't know offhand. Yes, I know something I don't know. But also, sorry I didn't answer that. Or answer that in much detail, because I didn't really know, and I just kind of threw out some figures there. And he said, I've been watching 205 Live recently, and have seen some great matches. Do you think WWE should incorporate 205 Live into Raw and SmackDown? Yes, I think they should. They tried doing the cruiserweights on Raw, and nobody gave a shit, because they tried to make it all different with the purple ropes and stuff like that, instead of just letting the cruiserweights go out there and fucking wrestle. And then they created 205 Live, which didn't really work all that well anyway, and just added a whole lot of action in front of a dead crowd and everything. And then they shot it before SmackDown, which was working, and then show it after SmackDown. And now they're back to shooting it after SmackDown, My idea is instead of, I would incorporate him in the Raw and SmackDown. I just don't think people would give a shit. People would just sit on their goddamn hands because they kind of ruin the brand despite how well the wrestlers are doing. I would have it in NXT, extend NXT by a half hour, and have one to two cruiserweight matches, 205 live matches per show. You get them in front of a hot crowd. You get a fresh audience, every little bit, even though the taping audiences usually get burned out after the fourth show. You would get a much hotter atmosphere, literally, because the building's really small. You would get a whole lot more fun with this, with a Full Sail atmosphere. I don't think enough people on Raw and SmackDown would care. Now, I agree with you, it'd be great and it would spice up Raw and SmackDown. I just don't see them doing it because they did it wrong on Raw and then they blamed the fans for it. And now they created 205 Live and they have no interest in it, which is a shame because what I've seen, I don't watch it all that much. Derb does. Derbinator, he watches 205 Live and offers some good thoughts on it. Usually he has to keep me up on it because I haven't even been able to watch NXT UK all that much weekly because I just don't have the time. So usually like I would prioritize NXT UK over 205 Live. I would like to see them implement on Raw and SmackDown, but I would actually just say stick a half hour in NXT, just as I suggested. It would add more to NXT and it would give the guys something to do, and the crowd would be hotter. And third question, your opinion on Jack Gallagher. Love Jack Gallagher. I loved him as babyface. Loved him as a whole umbrella thing. The thing he did, I believe it's a 2017 Royal Rumble. That was pretty fun. I like Jack Gallagher. I think Jack Gallagher is goddamn good talent. I like seeing him in NXT UK as a regular performer. Because at this point, they might just disband 205 Live, and then what the fuck are you going to do with them? So put him, Noam Dar, in NXT UK, and you could add some star power to it. Gallagher's great. I think Gallagher's style is fine. I like him as a heel or babyface. He really does work well. I was impressed with him in the first ever Cruiserweight Classic. I think he's a damn good talent. And then we go to the last couple questions from @AFreakyDude on Twitter. Has Shane McMahon become just as insufferable as his sister, if not more? About as insufferable as his sister in 2014. Remember the whole thing with her feuding with Brie Bella and being, all over trying to slap Daniel Bryan and the whole Brie Bella thing? I quit. I think somebody kicked Brie Bella in the head. It was probably a mule that kicked her in the head as a kid to explain why she can't fucking cut a promo at all. And thank God the Bellas are off WWE TV for good. Please, please, don't come back to the ring. You aren't needed. But yes, Shane McMahon has become about on par with it. Because Stephanie was more insufferable for longer on TV. Shane has been insufferable for a number of months, especially since his heel turn, even though I was for the heel turn before. I just don't like that they're smashing him over so many other people when there are many other heels. Drew, what the fuck they doing with Drew? Elias could be used better. The Revival, they're the Raw Tag Team Champions again, apparently turned down another contract offer from WWE. Can you fucking blame them? I guarantee you they'll be tied up for 5 years and then not be used at all. And sure, they might get paid better, but it's also about quality of life. We're going to see a mass exodus, by the way, from WWE because apparently, in rumors, who knows if the rumors are true, that a lot of wrestlers are frustrated with Shane McMahon getting so much TV time. Maybe not necessarily frustrated at Shane specifically, but just this idea that because of the wildcard rule, Shane's being featured and doing all this, and it's not working at all. It's not even getting it to where I want to see Shane, beat up and somebody to get their comeuppance over him. Somebody suggested, and it wasn't just Derb, it was a couple other people, like, well, maybe they're building this whole thing up with Miz where he finally beats Shane McMahon. Miz is so fucking beat to powder that it's not even going to matter if he beats Shane at, like, SummerSlam if they did that. Watch Shane win the title at Extreme Rules. Watch him have Shane win the WWE title at Extreme Rules, and then Miz wins the title from him. Hate to say it, it ain't going to mean much because Miz has basically been beaten to shit. So to answer your question, yes, Shane McMahon he's become just as insufferable. If they continue this for a number of months, it's going to probably equal getting over that. But Stephanie was much more infuriating for a longer period of time. Even though before Shane turned heel, I was really getting annoyed with him being featured in big matches when he didn't need to be. Yeah, I still rank Stephanie above him, but Shane's time on TV has made WWE TV unbearable. And it really has. And there are some fans that think I'm being too harsh or whatever. And I'm not knocking as far as age, but some people that are saying that like, or well, I'm 21, this TV show is great. Well, great. Go back and watch the Attitude Era and see that nothing has really fucking changed. Go and watch the Ruthless Aggression Era. The McMahons are still on TV quite a bit. It kind of got annoying. Nothing has fucking changed. But anyway, second question. Should WWE hype up their pay-per-view matches the same way NXT does with wrestlers talking to the camera? I assume you mean as far as interviews, as far as like how they hype up their feuds. The problem is NXT does 1 hour TV a week. Video packages, a few things on YouTube, and WWE main roster has 5 hours of TV to fill. Plus 205 Live, plus, I mean, NXT UK doesn't really count, but it counts as NXT, but not as, main roster. So if you include 205 Live, if you include all that stuff and everything, and the stuff with the 24/7 title they're doing, that's like 7 hours of TV that they're doing. Like, 7 hours of content people have to keep up with. And not enough people are doing it. I would be for WWE limiting the amount of pay-per-views they have and maybe taking a pay-per-view off in July and taking one off. I would say take off the one in March. I would go with the Royal Rumble. You want to go with Elimination Chamber, fine, but then take off the one in March and just go to Mania, and then whatever else, and then whatever else in June, and then take off July, SummerSlam, September, October, Survivor Series, take December off. As far as how they should hype them up, sure, but the problem is Vince isn't that smart, and he wouldn't do all that. He wouldn't do that, and he wouldn't be great with how he does, great with, producing stuff like that. I will say there's some aspects on Raw this week where he stepped in the right direction, starting off with a match after just a couple minutes of talking, but there's still a long way to go. But would it help? I don't know if it would help. It would be nice, but I don't know if it would help. And there we go. Third question, final question of the show. Knowing how you feel about the 24/7 title, what is your opinion on the DDT Pro Iron Man Heavy Metal Weight Championship? I have no fucking idea what you're talking about. I know what DDT Pro is, as far as by name. Is that the one where they can wrestle in pools or whatever? Or they can, or because I saw some footage of that. Or they can just pin anybody anywhere and anybody can hold the title. Because if that's the title you're referring to, I fucking hate it. I think it's stupid. I don't understand it. If people like that, that's fine. I'm not saying the promotion's stupid. Just the concept of the title. But if that's what you're referring to, yeah, I fucking hate it. Can't fucking stand it. Those are my thoughts, brief thoughts on that. So I apologize if I didn't really answer that all that much, but I barely have time to cover everything in WWE and New Japan, so I wasn't really all that familiar with DDT Pro. I'm not upset at you asking, I'm just sorry if I couldn't get more detailed. But anyway, that's going to be the end of that. A few minutes shorter than a normal episode with a few rants thrown in, so I hope you guys enjoyed me getting a lot closer to the camera anyway. Agree, disagree with what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. Once again, if you want to send in questions, just do the stuff in the beginning, and I will see you soon.